It is Thursday, August the 8th, 2019. Bitcoin prices are breaking below a 1-2-3 top formation in stages, but could this be the bears being drawn into a trap? Let's find out on today's episode of the 24 Hours of Bitcoin. A quick look at our disclaimer. You can pause the video to read through it. This is not trading advice, just market observation. So what we're observing right now is the potential 1-2-3 top formation where we had a break below this tiny little 1-2-3. And so now we're having nested 1-2-3s setting up. Every time that there's a retest or a failed retest of a recent high or low and then a break below it, it's an important level. When prices come back up underneath to retest it but fail, it's another important level. And as they're breaking any kind of consolidation like this down below, it's another important sell level. And I'm certain that the short-term Ichimoku cloud is probably going to start to show us sell signals in the downtrend. Hey, Tony, good to have you along. So let's jump into our indicators and see, because Bitcoin prices just dropped below this long-term channel that we've been watching, making a larger 1-2-3 top formation here, and a smaller 1-2-3 top formation. At the same time, if I was to grab a trend line, we still are inside the potential for the continuation of the parabolic action, and we'll see more about that in the episode. And then we're going to end by talking about what this is meaning for the altcoins right now, where the real opportunity might be ready to spring up into some amazing gains. They've been laying flat so long. So in this episode, let's take a look at the weekly view of the relative strength index and then zoom in. The first thing that catches my eye is these, we have them back. 3 exhaustion wicks, 3 reversal wicks on the weekly view. Is it going to go down? I don't know. But if it goes up or down, we're going to see one of two things with this RSI on the weekly view. We can see in the past, let me go to this scribbler. In the past, when we had the RSI bounce and then ease off on any kind of angle here, here's one, here's another, there's another, there's another. Each time, it's just part of the little bit of a pullback before the continuation of the uptrend. So nothing to worry about so long as it stays flat and ticks back up on all of these. A little bit of a pullback, then back up. The trouble is the break. That's when we know that we're on the other side. And we're not on the 4 side on our way up, but we're actually over the other side and we're starting to work our way down. So if this RSI pulls back next week or the week after, and we start to see it pull back like this, we're going to also see it in the prices. We'll be below these levels as that's happening. And so watching what this RSI does on the weekly view to go up or down from here is going to be really key. And how far does it go? We'll watch along and we'll give it a week, maybe even 2, for this continuation of the parabolic move upward. It could just be a breather and normal and all good. So now zooming in, we got a few people joining into the live stream. Let me know if the sound is good, and let me know where in the world are you from, because it is 1:30 in the afternoon and I am aiming to get more European, Australian, and international, because I've got a strong following in the US, lots of people from the US, lots of people from Canada, but looking for more of the international. I'm trying different stream times during the day. Now back to the chart. 3 lower highs. Watching for what is the RSI doing in trends as well as divergences here. And for me so far, it's bounced higher off of these middle levels. So again, as it's pulling back here, maybe this will give us some inside view before the weekly about how deep this is coming and if it's coming back. If we're crossing this red line on the daily RSI, we're going back. On the 12-hour view, now I'm seeing a divergence in the RSI where we've got, well, maybe not a divergence, but weaker RSI as we're going along. This was a break of the RSI trend. This was a break of the RSI trend when we came down, when we came down, when we came down. So this is important right here. That's a really important one. Let me clean that up so I can make that more prominent. As I've been watching the RSI, not just for the divergences now where we have a higher high and we have lower high in the RSI. This is a strong divergence here for me, which told me it's probably going to be coming down more than it did. Thank goodness for the 1, 2, 3s because they override these indicators. Now that we have the indicator doing this detail, as we're making a 1, 2, 3, I am seeing more slippage coming in. High from Bavaria, from France, Norway, Sweden, all Europe. Awesome. From Holland. Sounds great. I'm guessing from Alberta, Canada. Pretty close. I'm from Winnipeg right now, but originally from Ontario. Where are we now? We're looking at the 12-hour time frame, zooming into the 4-hour time frame. So again, this RSI break at the time that the prices are breaking, or a little bit before. Now we have a divergence in the RSI from this top. So it does appear more weak to me now. We were really seeing it as we came out of this view. This part right here, the RSI and everything was all telling us and screaming that we're going up from here. Now it seems to have like just lost some of the energy. It just needs to have a breath. You know, it's normal. The markets breathe in, they breathe out. They give you money and they take it away. They give you money and they take it away. That's the way the markets are. 1, 2, 3 top formation hasn't broken yet properly. It should go down on the elevator, right? Not down, up on the stairs, down on the elevator. Fast. So if this is short is correct, it's going to go fast. If it is not proving you correct, then get ready to not be short on this one for sure. But it's still looking toppy here. I'm getting distracted. We're on the 1-hour time frame. Let's zoom into the 15-minute bar to see if we get a change from like a divergence in the RSI like this. We have lower lows, but a strong divergence in the RSI. So now I'm watching for this RSI to break this trend line as a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. So this is the 1 point of the bottom. This is the number 2. This is the number 3. And that would be even here, I could scribble out a 1, 2, 3 trend continuation pattern, a break above those levels. Now we're in a trend. It makes a 1, 2, 3 and then continues on. It's an ascending wedge triangle is what it ends up shaping out to be in order to create that 1, 2, 3 formation. That's a good review of the RSI. Let's jump into the on balance volume, and it's picked up. We've got more on this right-hand side than I was expecting for the weekly view. Let's go into the daily view. This isn't a predictive indicator. It'll tell us what is going on or what has gone on, but it's not going to predict so much. I guess maybe. I don't know. I'm still really finding these divergences useful as we come across these tops and we see that there's less on balance buying. So now, here it is. We're coming off a double top and we have less buying on that one side. We're looking at the 12-hour view, so let's see how this zooms in. On the 4-hour view, there we go. So this is what I'm looking for in this indicator is a strong buying on the way up, not as strong buying here, and then whoop, flips over to selling. And while this is flipping over, you know the alts are doing it. We're going to go through Bitcoin dominance, then we're going to go and check out alts here in a second too. Because when this dives, I think they are going to launch, and everybody's been watching for it, but which ones are going to launch? That's what our spreadsheet is really good for. Zooming in on these are pretty equal buying details here. Pretty equal along the 1-hour time frame. Let's go on to the MACD indicator. We're looking at the long term. Dang close, eh? And conclusion, we'll come to the conclusion right after. I think it's going to be pulling back just for the spoiler. Let's go. But how much? Let's grab a Fibonacci. Even though Fibonacci is sort of like a horoscope, you can fit it where you want. The 1, 2, 3 formation is the only thing real. Now, this is getting more real to me now that the histograms are evening off. If the histogram goes flat or up at all, we're continuing up. This is a really important one, the weekly on the MACD indicator. And we could see it gave us great details on the way up last time. So we're watching for those same things now on the weekly, but I don't like those 3 exhaustion candles. When we're getting here, we got 3 lower highs. And as we see this crossover, it's crossed over positive. Now, here's where I'm going every day. I'm going back over this point here and reviewing this point here because if these are the same, then this is what's next for us from where we are, which would take us down to $6,500 level and probably shake out a lot of people who are super excited. The news is so positive. It is so wonderful. Everything is great for Bitcoin. Watch, it's going down. So as we zoom in, this should give us the indicator. This should give us the inside information. When this histogram is easing off, we're on the 1-day view. If it's easing off tomorrow more, that's not good. But prices are probably already going to be breaking below our 1, 2, 3 formation. And it'll be too reminiscent of what happened back here. If we get a crossover and the histogram, let me zoom in on that part right there. The histogram went up 1, 2, 3 days, and it came down 1, 2, and then it was negative 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And for a week and a half, while prices really came down until it crossed over again. And that's a lot of selling. So let's go back into where we are now. Is that the same? We now have something to compare it against. We know exactly what we're looking for in this indicator from every day. Let's go on to zoom in on the 12-hour time frame. It is giving us the leading indicator. It's not crossed yet, but look at how the histogram is easing off. That we have a cross here and a cross lower while we're in these lower highs is also weak. How about when we zoom in here? This is the most leading indicator for me because I'm watching for the 1, 2, 3 top formation and the break of that. Then I always look back and I see the MACD indicator crossed just at the 1 point or just between the number 1 and the number 2 point. It's already crossed. It's already showing it's losing power. And then now it's going to flare wide. So tomorrow when we zoom in on this, on the 4-hour time frame, this histogram will be longer and this will have flared wider and the price will have come down if we're going down. And that's what it certainly is appearing like it. Crossover of the RSI, crossover of the RSI. I'm too excited about seeing the chart to speak it properly. Look at this crossover and crossover as we're going a little higher here. So this is showing inside weakness as this 1, 2, 3 formation is setting up. And I've had so many 1, 2, 3 formations work and so many of them not work that I had to understand what's the difference between these 1, 2, 3 formations that work and those that don't work. I started studying these indicators like we're doing here every single day. So then I started to see these patterns. Now I'm doing this live stream so that I can practice them and share them with you. And you can check out more of our stuff if you like this. You can subscribe. Finland. That's my heritage when we do our DNA. Finnish saunas make the world go round. 1-hour time frame on the... Okay, now here's an indicator I'm looking at replacing. And let me go to our Discord chat group. I'm going to check out the KST indicator, no sure thing, right after we go through the Ichimoku cloud. So the long-term Ichimoku is good. You know, you could just hold this and go off on holidays. You don't have to do anything. For this, on the daily view, it's just crossed positive. This is negative. It's above the cloud, so it's kind of neutral, not doing much of anything. It's not actually a signal. When we go into the 12-hour time frame, it's a positive signal here, and it's still remaining positive. We've got a positive twist to the cloud. So I don't want to just give up this indicator, but I'm depreciating it. Isn't that a nice word? Now, we've got the crossover positive here, but it's starting to get a little bit negative in the 4-hour time frame, but still not a sell, not an exit. Even though we have the 1, 2, 3 top formation, the 4-hour time frame, maybe it's going to pull back and give us a buy signal in the uptrend. So I'll keep watching this one just to have that comparison. But now in the 1-hour time frame, this is where I found in many of the little bits of runs here, you can see that as it comes into the 1-hour time frame, it's giving us a sell signal in the downtrend, sell signal, and now it's giving us buy signals in the uptrend, and it's failing. This is the first time it's failed through the cloud inside this 1, 2, 3 top formation. If we zoom in, the conversion line is crossed over the baseline. We have the trailing indicator is cut through both the red and the blue. So as it goes wide and this turns negative, that'll certainly support what everything else is already telling us, really. The 15-minute time frame, it whipsaws back and forth in here quite a bit. But you can see in the uptrend, it only came through for a little bit. Now we're dangling right through. And as we break lower, it's going to be something. So you think it's going to 6,500? You crazy. Crypto, gee, let's talk about this one next week or a week and a half. And we'll talk with, what is his name? Oh, opticalart.com, I think. He's the guy that does the Fibonacci circles all over. He's also figuring we're coming down. Now, I'm going to add in this, no, this, and what's that again? KST. So you're learning, if maybe, I'm learning about this new right now. KST, 5-year view. Cross to the positive right where it should. If this is giving us buy signals and exit signals just on the most general way, so that you put your money to work for you, you go off to other things, let your money do it, come back and just take the profit with no work, no studying. Just buy when it crosses, get out when it crosses on the weekly view. That's it. Trading course over. Here is the daily view. So now I'm looking for divergences, crossovers, to let me know that it's run out of steam or gathering steam. And I don't know. We'll check it out over time. Then on the 12-hour, we have a bottom here and a bottom here. So it's crossed positives, kind of like the MACD in that it really did lead it pretty nicely. But now it's losing. One thing I'm missing in this indicator right away is the histogram to go along with it. The histogram gives you the distance between these lines, and you can see the acceleration and the deceleration better. 12-hour, 4-hour time frame. So it's already kind of lost momentum, and it's already crossed and flaring wider. So if it crosses and flares wider on the downtrend, this is looking negative, supporting that negative. It's again, I just love seeing this divergence. It messes me right up. You see the crossover to the negative, then we have a similar high, but a lower high in the indicator crossing to the negative. So even though we're showing a bit of positive right now, as we zoom in on this, if it's only coming up here and testing it but not breaking it, is it really showing strength? Not yet. The support and resistance lines are really clear here. Did anybody bought this? Did everybody bought this? Because it's like you could just draw guitar strings along there. Now, let's finish up. We got the Bitcoin dominance. Optical always thinks we're going down. I have had downitis before as well. Every time Bitcoin made a top formation and the alts made a bottom formation, I was all into the alts and Bitcoin continued to go up. And I started to learn more about those parabolic moves up, and we're still in it. So any pullback in Bitcoin is only to pull the actual real Bitcoin away from the small traders into the institutional's pocket. So they have it on a cold storage device somewhere backing them up, and they have those. They want the real Bitcoin. They want to trade futures so that they can get the real Bitcoin. And we are the uneducated traders who put on too large of a position, too close to the market with our stop too close, and we are just whale food. But at the same time, we can position properly with the cryptocurrencies, I think, right now. And they are, if Bitcoin dominance is making a 1, 2, 3 top formation and coming down and breaking these trend lines, alts will be on their way up, even if Bitcoin prices are going up. Now we can see that we've been in a hydraulic press for all of the altcoins, and they are really screaming all the way along here. If it's going to go, it's going to pop, and Bitcoin is going to do a parabolic move that isn't parabolic, but is actually the inflection point where it goes from $20K to $60,000 in about 3 days, and people just can't stop looking at the charts going, oh my God. But it's the supply and demand, and pretty soon there's no supply, not anybody selling it, and it just goes right straight up as the institutions don't care, right? It's not personal money. They have an order to purchase. Away they go. And we already know the world's money supply chart, that one row of that money hitting Bitcoin is going to put us to $1 trillion of market cap. And it's not going to happen slowly. It's not going to trickle in. We'll have that straight up point. So what's going on with altcoins now? if we are coming up to the top here, we should be able to measure that the altcoins are getting ready to go. And it's not just going to be a fake out and we're going to get crushed again. And what we're doing is measuring all of the stuff on the altcoins so that we are seeing graphically where the altcoins are right now. And we can see that the red line is bearish. So most of them are in fails or near fails. And a bunch, not hardly any of them are in buy signals. But as we go into the data and we look right at Poloniex here, 2 days ago we had 41 markets that were making brand new lows. They were fails. Yesterday there was only 27. A bunch had bounced up a little bit, but then they crashed back down again as Bitcoin showing strength. Now what I'm expecting is by tomorrow we'll have a whole bunch of them back up into the near fail status. And maybe we'll have a bunch of these neutral coins jump into alert status, which means they could be tradable coins. And we're already seeing some of those setting up in Binance. We're up 72% in dusk, 33%, 30%, 24%, 16%. So some of these are starting to move pretty quickly, and they're not just small market cap coins. And so it's going to be very interesting. Let's go and check out Binance data. We had 127 in fail status. Now we're at 112, but this is the key stuff where we have 10, 17, 12 that are stable in neutral status. Those are going to be the ones that are going to take off right now. Those are going to be the most important ones to be watching for, positioning in as they're breaking out of those bottom formations. If you're interested in following along with that, click on the link in the description below. It'll take you to our cryptocurrency trade signals beta blog, where when we have items hitting their target entries, it'll be published here on the blog and sent out on Twitter. And you can also do some tag surfing to see when and where our alerts were for different coins as we trade them. So you can surf along here for KNC when we had our alert published, when the target entry was hit, when the stop loss was hit in this as well. So you can follow along with all these trades just for a while here on our beta blog. Let's jump in back to Bitcoin. Oh, it's moving some pressure up. 1 minute view. So here is the dilemma as it's coming up into support and resistance levels. I'm going to move the chart. It gives us some great decision points as it's coming up here now. If it's bouncing negative off of this, it's just confirmation of the stages down. And breaking below this trend line would be really key as well. So that about wraps it up for today. I think it's weak. I think it's coming down. I think over the next 3 days, we're going to see some pretty significant pullbacks, actually. And I didn't do a Fibonacci on it yet. Let's go to the 3-month view and close that. This is the Fibonacci that I normally use. Cleaned it up so that it's not so bad. Not all those ugly colors and stuff. So here's a general range back to 98. But if we go back under 95, we're going to go into deeper. Like really deeper. So if I go into the 5-year view and go logarithmic, let's close this in the background. Then we're looking at, everybody's looking at 3,200 or 1,800 or 1,200. If we go under 9,500, it's 61 is next, 31 is next, and 11 is next. The 31 and 11, they're always the fear numbers everybody's always pointing to because of the charts here. And when you see it in the logarithmic view, it's not that far away. But from where we are, if we dip under 95, we're going to probably bounce off 61, 62. Just from what we're looking at here over the long term. So that'll about wrap it up. If there's any questions, you can always put them in the chat, or please come and join us on Discord. We follow this throughout the day. So as things are unfolding and as this is bouncing off one way or the other, we'll be tracking it. We'll be updating it in our Discord chat. Now, my favorite part of the show is I like to close off with a thank you to the people who are supporting this channel. Very important, and I appreciate it because I love doing it and I love the data that it allows me to collect and share. Cheers. I'll see you on the next episode of the 24 Hours of Bitcoin. Now for our sponsors, I guess. "25 minutes? When I started this out, they were supposed to be 10 minutes and no longer. Let me know if it's too long. Cheers. Bye for now."